Good morning, this is Matthias Chang from Future Fast Forward once again. Today I intend to address two issues, but the main issue will be the second part of my address to you all. And I hope you give me the indulgence of watching this entire video speech to the very end, because it contains some very, very important matters and issues which you need to understand. Firstly, may I say to all of you, there is a fundamental SOP, standard operating procedure, for any government when faced with a crisis or impending exposure or implosion of a news that will rock and shake the government. They've always, in the background, in preparation, an issue or news that will divert the attention of everyone from the impending implosion and expose of a very detrimental news. You will recall, last 1 week or so, the news coming out from Singapore has been horrendous for Najib, his cabal, and the crooks overseas, the Arabs, and this China Kwai Jolo. Everything came out that the bankers in BIS Bank were up to their eyeballs, alright, scheming money from MDB to their own pockets and diverting the money to the bank account of Najib. So they do not want people to focus on the issue. And if there is no other diversion, then the headlines in all the newspapers will be very mundane news or some international news which Malaysians would not be bothered. Therefore, Malaysia will be focused on those issues that will hit Najib right between his eyes. Bear in mind, if you do not believe me, go back and analyze. Whenever there's shit hitting the ceiling fan against the cabal, the Nazi regime, some other issues will come up, like the hudud issue. Let me emphasize to all of you once again, the hudud issue is a non-issue, guarantee you. Alright? It's always raised up to divert your attention. I guarantee you, hudud is not an issue. So don't waste time on it. I bring my life on the line to say that the hudud issue is a non-issue, it's a diversion. Now it's been postponed again to the select committee, stored in cold storage, and then when anything happens that would impact on Najib, they will come up with that issue, hudud, and everybody get jumpy and frightened and talk cock. Stop it. Don't fall into the trap of that diversion. Secondly, the arrest of Matthias Chang under SOSMA, though horrendous, is also a diversion. Of course, we must condemn. And let me say, I have condemned in my last address the incarceration of Matthias Chang under SOSMA, because I was also incarcerated under SOSMA. So I know how she feels. And of course, the country must condemn the injustice, the abuse of SOSMA, and to accuse her of undermining parliamentary democracy, when the cabal has destroyed parliament and destroyed every institution of this country. That's why I said the country is broken. Why I say it's a diversion? Because these two issues, hudud and the arrest of Matthias Chang, right? They had to choose one or two. They decided, let the two come up together, so that everyone is so absorbed in the hudud issue and the arrest of Matthias Chang that will forget the filth, the nasty filth of the expose in Singapore criminal proceedings against the BIS Bank. So I appeal to everyone, while we protest and continue to protest the incarceration of Matthias Chang and demand for her release do not for one moment distract your focus and attention from the criminality, the direct robbery, the financial rape of the cabal. As and when the dirt comes out from Singapore, court proceedings, or Switzerland, or US, use those information and bring out to the open so that it will be always on the mind of the Rakyat. Alright? Even though the arrest of Matthias Chang is very important. Any arrest of anyone arising from the abuse of power must be protested. But let me remind you all again, do not be distracted. Do realize and appreciate that the arrest is a diversion. Why I say it's a diversion? Very simple. If this cabal wanted to really destroy the leadership of the opposition, they would have incarcerated a whole bunch of them. But they know, the cabal knows that if they incarcerate a whole bunch of leaders opposing them, starting from Tun Mahathir, Kit Siang, leaders of Amanah, PKR, they know the backlash is so momentous, it will push his cabal off the cliff. But that's not what they want. That's too dangerous a game to play. But they focus on one or two key persons and let the rest free for the time being. That's why it's a diversion. Because they know that arresting one will not result in a backlash, a major backlash. That is their calculation. I'm not saying they are right, but that is their calculation, the deviousness of their mind. Okay? So, they're holding back their punches, but enough to create a uproar and divert your attention. If you see the newspapers, you see the alternative media, very few talk about the expose of the criminal proceedings in Singapore and the filth, the arrogance, the recklessness with which they stole and raped our country. Okay? So bear that in mind. Continue your vigil until the release of Matthias Chang from the horrendous incarceration in solitary confinement. But at the same time, continue to do the counter-propaganda on the 1MDB issue. Expose their crimes. Alright? With that, I will pause here for a while. I think I want to go on other issues. I will revisit the issue of the propaganda tactics of the regime in diverting people from the attention of the main issues. Now, on the second issue, recently, Najib, in addressing the MCA party in the Dewan Lee San Chun, attacked me personally. He mentioned my name. And in conjunction, that being advisor of Tun Mahathir, I'm a useless advisor, and my advice was medieval. He mentioned my name. And in the process, to the morons of MCA who was clapping and laughing, not knowing when he criticized me before the entire party leadership, he was actually also insulting the very president and leader of the MCA morons, idiots, scumbags. And what was the issue? That this scumbag leader used to attack me. And of course, he knows that each and every moron who gathered in the Lee San Chun Hall, Dewan Lee San Chun, was totally ignorant, blind, oblivious, with their head buried in the sand and showing their Chinese ass to the whole world. So he grandstand, he postured, and they clapped. And in the process, showed how stupid they are, because by clapping, they have shown the disrespect of their own leader, the president of MCA. What is the issue? He said that Matthias Chang, advisor of Tun Mahathir, proposed to him in advisory to build, among other things, a water canal. Alright? From Kuantan, that's what he says, alright, down to Bentung, etc. etc. How stupid is this concept? Medieval canals. Whereas he is a modern, far-thinking, far-seeing leader. So therefore, he came up with the railway from the east all the way down to Selangor. That is the technology advance, the modern policy, his vision. This man, in accusing me, in attacking me, lied, and lied. Because he dare not tell the truth. I'm going to say to Najib and the whole country, I challenge him openly to a public debate, and if he has no guts to debate with me, send any of his henchmen, cronies or barking dogs, be it Kyrie or anyone from Ministry of Finance, Bank Negara or Treasury. Okay? Debate with me on the issue, on my advisory that was given to him. Alright? About the so-called project, policy paper on the project on water resource management, irrigation, flood prevention, water highway, and inland ports for the transformation of the rural economy. That was the broad concept of my policy paper. And I challenged Najib and anyone in Sabah that I did not just present a policy paper, but I was trying to get a project to line my pockets. If you can produce a letter, a document, where I give financial data and demanded that I was given that project to line my pockets, then I'm saying to this man and whoever is barking dogs, you are liars, manipulators, and cowards. And you can dare show, without manipulation or forgery, any letters written by me or any paper to say that I am now tendering or negotiating for a private project, privatization. On that issue, I will go to the mosque and I will convert to Islam and beg forgiveness of Allah. But if you can't prove that I asked for or lobbied for a mega project involving what I've said earlier, then you go to the mosque, you kneel down, you prostrate before Allah and ask for forgiveness. You scumbag liar. You scumbag liar. You don't even tell the truth as to how and in what circumstances my proposal came about to you soon after the 30th election, when Tun Mahathir was still dealing with you, and I was asked to play a role to support your administration. That was one of my biggest mistakes, because at that time, fortunately for you, Najib, Tun did not task me to do research on 1MDB. That came later. When I delved into the 1MDB and saw the shit, I took a stand, I went backwards, and I started condemning the criminality of your regime. So let's move backwards and see what you say in the MCA speech to the bunch of morons. Is the truth, the whole truth, or nothing but the truth, but pure distortion? Because you're so empty in your head, you grandstand to show as if you know so much, but you know nothing. I will expose you for being a liar, a leader that don't care for his people, who has no economic brains to do what's right for the country. Why? Way back during Tun Mahathir's premiership, I submitted a policy paper. Look at this title. Way back in 2002. How to transform the rural economy. The green industrialization. To solve the rural poverty, the rural divide between rural areas and urban area, the rural-urban drift, disparity of incomes, or what have you. This was my master plan blueprint. And then I submitted also another blueprint. This is the title of that blueprint. How to manage our water resources in a multi-approach way for sustainable development of our water resources, irrigation, flood mitigation, and as another initiative to transform the rural economy and sector and to elevate the entire rural community of Bumiputras. These were submitted way back in 2002, late 2002. However, this initiative was not implemented because Tun retired. Now, subsequently, to show that I was far-sighted, unlike this scumbag leader who belittled this initiative, events subsequent to my initiative submitted to the government, I will now draw your attention to New Straits Times article December 10, 2007 by the Penggara of the Drainage and Irrigation Department, which says that way back in 2007, the country then would require 27 billion ringgit to alleviate floods, the problem of floods throughout the country. 27 billion. Alright? Do your research, Google Straits Times 2007. Okay? At this particular time, you will know that Patla was the Prime Minister and Najib was the Deputy Prime Minister. He was forewarned. And this article, this statement by the Penggara corroborates and vindicates my far-reaching foresight and initiative to transform our water resources, to go beyond flood mitigation. And what happens? Nothing happened. Why? Because these dumb asses in leadership know nothing. And yet, in an address to the Morons of MCA, were clapping and laughing. Water resource management, he says, the concept, the proposal is medieval. As if water resources, managing rivers, flood mitigation has a time zone. You know why I say that? Because when I retired, together with Tun Mahathir in 2003, the new administration of Badawi came, and all my research in steel cabinets, 6 of them, was destroyed. Destroyed my research. You know why? Because the guy who gave instructions for the destruction of my research says, ini dokumen tak guna lagi. Ini bukan zaman Tun Mahathir. Ini zaman Patla, tak guna. Wang, seret. But as a result of those stupid action, no wonder Najib thinks that he's very clever. He's far-sighted. He neglects agriculture. He neglects rural development. He regrets our most important management of resources, the water resources. Let me say to you, in the future, wars will be waged for control of water resources. Water resources must be harnessed, managed, and sustained as a national security asset. Scumbags, only an idiot think otherwise. So since when is the management of water resources a medieval responsibility? Tell me, when? Let me say to you, and get it tattooed in his mind as well as your mind, MCA morons, water resource management is a global responsibility. It's neither medieval or modern. It's an eternal strategic duty and responsibility for whole and by whole humanity. There's no time frame. It doesn't end or stop in 1 year or 2 years. It's a continuing process of sustainable development. Yet he says, to the stupidity, bunch of morons, monkeys of MCA, they clap and they laugh. And he stood, before the mic, Matthias Chang, giving medieval proposals, and he laughed and laughed. Now, I will now show to you how stupid is this man. How stupid is this man. He said when he laughed at his father, Tun Razak. Because Tun Razak, way back, when the Muda irrigation scheme was launched in Kedah, right? Subsequently, in 1973, his father opened the Sungai Muda water scheme for the benefit of Penang. He realized that water resources, although come from Kedah, was necessary for the Penang well-being. In 1973, his father launched the Sungai Muda water scheme. And since then, Penang has been taking benefit of the water resources of the Sungai Muda water scheme. Alright? Kedah. And then, in 1978, this scumbag doesn't know history. Scumbag leader, scumbag prime minister. If you want to give a speech to condemn me, you better do your research, right? Because if you take me on, you better do your research, because it's very clear your political secretary, your press aides, your whatever aides you have not done what iota research. Or told you, before you attack Matthias on this point, you better be sure of your facts. Or maybe you were so reckless and so confident of your facts, you even consult them. Be that as it may, I will expose you further how empty, how hollow you are. Why? Because in 1978, 5 years after Tun Razak launched the Sungai Muda water scheme, which is one of the most efficient water resource management project, Mr. McNamara, who was the defense secretary to President Kennedy, subsequently became World Bank chief, came to Malaysia to receive the award from the Tun Razak Foundation for his contribution as head of World Bank in financing and ensuring the proper implementation of our water resources. Let me read to you part of his speech when he came to Malaysia in 1978, 5 years after your father, you ignorant scumbag. Quote, the World Bank has had a long and fruitful association with Malaysia. In nearly 20 years, the bank has lent about 900 million to Malaysia for 40 different projects. Much of the lending, some 42%, has been for agriculture and rural development. Okay? And because of that contribution, he was given an award from the foundation. The Tun Abdul Razak Foundation Award. Okay. So if you say that what I say is rubbish, way back, these are the accolades given to the strides we've made in our economy in water resource management. And then, in 2009, there was the World Wildlife Fund project. They did a study, okay, on water resource management, using the Muda Irrigation Scheme as a benchmark. You got it? Okay, that's 2009. And then, in 2010, there was a study in Bangkok, again about KEDA, the Muda Irrigation Scheme. Okay? I'll run through this very quickly. Alright? Do the research, okay, about agriculture and water resources. Okay? Next one. Because KEDA is a rice bowl of Malaysia, water resource management is so important, it was formulated a granary policy. Just focus on it. I'll move on. You do the Google research. Okay. This went on. And then, in 2012, the Minister of Agriculture again did a study on the Sungai Kada and Sungai Muda river basins and water management resources. Alright? This by Ministry of Agriculture, 2012. Alright? You are now the Prime Minister. Najib, you are the Prime Minister. You don't even know what your own Ministry of Agriculture is doing about water resource management for KEDA. See, God is very great. Like I said before, God works in mysterious ways. With all these studies, this scumbag leader paid no attention to the impending danger of the need for water resource management, flood mitigation, irrigation, and what have you. So, you recall, fellow Malaysians, there was a massive flood in 2013. Pahang, Kuantan, you see this scumbag? UMNO leaders, MCA leaders. Your leader is from Pahang. And your Prime Minister says, how stupid Matthias talk about, right? A water management canal from Kuantan. Here is the report. The picture, Kuantan flooding. Okay? Now, I'll read to you what happens then. A spokesman of the Pahang Police Headquarters, 4 districts, Rompin, Kuantan, Pekan, Royal Town, and Maran, were affected. Okay? Massive flooding. Massive flooding. And this picture says it all. Kuantan town flooded. What do you say to that? Kuantan, MCA, last Saturday, you had a function in Kuantan, didn't you? And your president went to officiate. It's the Chinese Association, Gong Xiu. Kuantan was flooded. And you laugh? There's a need to control water resources from Kuantan. Kuantan was flooded because of the Kuantan River. It's come back. Then, there's other pictures. The Merlot. So now you see why I said there must be water resource management from Kuantan all the way to Bentong. The Merlot was flooded. Scumbag leaders, scumbag MCA from Pahang. Are you stupid? You laugh at your leader. Now don't lie. Another picture. Flood. At your mosque in Kuantan, flooded. What do you say to that? Commercial and business activities ground to the halt. Shop loss flooded. See this picture? Shop houses flooded. Economy of Pahang destroyed. The flood was so great, there was even blackout, interruption in electricity supply. Pahang was in darkness. Scumbag. So stop laughing at you MCA fellas from Pahang. This was the extent of the Pahang River. You forgot about that, see? This is 213, 213. And here's a picture of the Sultan of Pahang showing his concern for the Rakyat who suffered so much from the floods. But guess what? What did Najib say in 213 with the floods? This is what he said. I read to you. He only promised special aid after looking at flood devastation in Pahang. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Najib Tun Razak took a helicopter ride for an aerial view of the floods in his home state of Pahang. After hastily leaving the UMNO General Assembly he had opened in Kuala Lumpur earlier yesterday. The UMNO president called at 3 relief centres in Pekan and Rompin and said the government was prepared to consider a special aid for people affected by the floods, which has lashed Johor, Pahang, Terengganu and Kuantan. We will look into appropriate aid, he told reporters. This scumbag is so empty, so hollow. He's preparing aid, addressing the symptom of the flood, as if by giving aid to the poor people, he solved the problem. There's a short-term solution. He never considered the long-term solution. That is why, after this flood, I went to see him. And I dust off my shelf the earlier proposal I gave to Tun Mahathir when he was Prime Minister to say, please, this will happen again and again. Do something. Study my proposal. It is not just flood mitigation. Resource management is also irrigation. Using water resource in the multiple ways. Create another economy within the rural sector. Because railways usually run parallel to roads. Does not have a sustainable, lifelong development impact on the rural economy. Short term, yes, employment, once the railway is built, thereafter, hardly any economic activity. And most highways and railway bypasses the small towns. If you drive from Kuala Lumpur to Ipoh or to Johor, all the highway bypasses not only smaller towns, but all the smaller villages. So you're not bringing development to rural area. You only bring access, easier transportation. Scumbag, think. And then, he doesn't even know that universities have done a study. In 2014, International Journal of Civil Engineering, an article was written, research paper, a critical review of floods history in Kuantan River, scumbag, basin, challenges and potential solutions. Saida Maria Zaidi, A. Akbari, and W. Ishak. University Malaysia, Pahang. Got it? They did a study on the Kuantan River Basin. And you laugh. Why there should be water resource management from Kuantan all the way to Bentong. And there is a detailed study to say how important it is. I will not dwell on it. Just Google this topic and you have the entire research. Then what happens? You see, in his mind, he thought of votes, you see. He flew a helicopter and give aids, packet of rice. No long-term solution. That's why 2014 December, you recall, the whole country was flooded, even Sarawak and Sabah. Guess what? You recall, don't you? That he was playing golf with Obama. Didn't want to come back. Until the public outcry was such, he came back, he cut short. And this is the map, the National Flood Disaster Map. Over 200,000 people were affected and 105,812 people were evacuated. See this map? I will hold it for 15 seconds. 214 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. A picture paints more than 1,000 words. You scumbag leaders, the whole country was flooded in various degrees. But Pahang, Terengganu, Kedah were badly affected. And yet you laugh and laugh. Shame, shame on you. You don't even know your own economy. You don't even know the danger faced by the rural people by the water crisis. Malaysia Online, December 27, 2014. Flood woes continue. Number of Pahang Perak evacuees on the rise. In Pahang, 8,477 families from 8 flood-hit districts were recorded to have taken shelter at relief centers tonight from 8,280 families. It went on. 7 other flood-hit districts are Jerantut, 5,403 victims at 51 relief centers. Temerloh, 3,200 victims at 41 centers. Maran, Pekan, Lipis, etc., etc. And the Royal Palace at Pekan was almost flooded. And you laugh? You scumbag? It's a joke to you that even your Sultan, official residence, was affected. And you laugh. And you laugh. You disgust me by your infantile, flippant attitude to a natural resource crisis. And you boast about the railway. There are also pictures which shows the train could not run anymore. Roads were flooded because of the flood. So what's the use of having a train submerged in flood? Huh? You minimize that danger. You laugh. So, let me tell you, I then approach after December 1st once more to this scumbag leader how serious is this situation? And I said, please look into my paper. You know what he said? Oh, I submitted to Wahid Omar. He said we should focus on ICT. These are not important, you know. Again, and us come back hollow, empty. That's what he said. Huh? So Wahid Omar, I'm not defaming you. I'm merely repeating what your leader, Prime Minister, said about you, your response to my paper. To cut the story short, I then told the Prime Minister, we can look towards two countries to help us. Germany was very famous for managing canals, even as a boost to tourism, and China. Why? Because China harnessed the Yangtze River by building the Three Gorges Dam, as well as diverting water 3,000 kilometers from the south to the north to irrigate land for agriculture, open up land, and to bring economy and well-being to the rural people in the north, and to elevate floods in the south. 3,000 kilometers. And they asked me, Matthias, it'd be very expensive to bring all these experts to do the feasibility studies. It will cost millions. And the project will be very expensive. I said, no. It's how we negotiate. Because this is a strategic asset, our resource, water resource. Therefore, we must invest for the future. And I said, don't worry. I will use my connection. To cut the story short, rather than he running to China and prostitute himself to China, because he has been, right, whacked by USA for betraying their trust. Now he goes to China for protection and sell our assets, right, and prostitute Malaysia. I was able to get top engineers from the Zhangjiang Institute of Survey, Planning, Design and Research, China. The very same engineers that was involved in the Three Gorges Dam dump skulls and were involved in the study, research, planning of flood mitigation, water resource management, agriculture, and what have you. And guess what? Despite his fears that it will cost a lot of money, these dynamic engineers, the new breed from China, who wants to do good not only from China, but to all over the world to help solve this problem of water resource management, came to Malaysia. And I was with them. We surveyed the Pahang River. We met rural Malays who were so happy that at last someone is looking into the problems of flooding in Pahang. Not just the Kuantan River, Pahang River as a whole. We met all the villagers who were so happy that at least there will be also employment and the economy in those areas will blossom. And after a very detailed research, and they worked with the Department of Drainage Irrigation, the most professional people we have in our country, in Pahang. Worked with the Chinese team, you know. And they were so happy that they were so professional. Okay. They then came with a report. A report was prepared by the Zhangjiang Institute. I count 10 seconds for you to see the title page of this report. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. Free! All expenses was incurred by them. That shows the international approach to collaboration, a win-win situation. And that team was led by Mr. Hu Wingzhong, who was, by his designation, the deputy, the leader of the delegation, and a very experienced engineer. Can I just read to you? Mr. Hu Wei-zhong has been working for Jiangjiang Survey Planning and Design Research Company since 1991 and holds the position of Deputy Chief Engineer of the company. Having been engaged in the flood control study, planning and design work for 24 years. As the lead discipline engineer, he took part in dozens of study, planning and design work such as the study on the flood control situation and countermeasures in the middle and lower reaches of the Yangtze River after the completion of the Three Gorges Dam and other projects. Yangtze River, Mr. Prime Minister, MCA Morons who gathered before him and laughed. These people came all the way from China to help Malaysia. They came to Malaysia. I didn't go there like you did. And they extended a hand of friendship because they realized what it is. The danger of flooding, lack of irrigation, resource management, and how to use the Yangtze River for other economic benefits. And you laugh, you scumbag, you laugh, and say it's medieval. China is what is today is because of the ability to manage their water resources. So, my fellow Malaysians, now do you see how stupid he is? How he misled you? You China Guai, the MCA. I believe in that report, there you are. At the bottom, there is a meeting of the team with the Department of Drainage and Irrigation of Pahang. Okay, so I'm not bluffing you, huh? And then I believe there was also picture of the survey of the river Pahang. At some places, the sandbanks and silting was so bad that even the boat cannot get through. And this is one of the reasons of the flood, not just the rainfall. The silting, the sedimentation was so severe, even boat cannot pass. Okay. And I was told, I was not there, that the team even paid a courtesy call to Mr. Datuk Liao Tong Lai in his office. Because being the president of MCA, they felt obliged to give a courtesy call. There was a picture taken. I don't have it. But I challenge MCA leaders from Pahang and from Malaysia. Why do you laugh when this current Prime Minister talk rubbish and thereby insult your president in your own face? He was here with the Chinese engineers, top people, to solve the crisis of Pahang. And after suffering the flood in 2013 and 2014, you laugh, you MCA scumbags, you don't have exercised your critical mind? Huh? What's wrong with you? And you want to be elected by the people to be scumbag ass lickers of this Prime Minister? No imagination, no research, no proper economic planning. That's why today, this country is going down the tubes. Our economy is going to crash. Ringgit is going down. I already forecasted way back it will hit 450. It hit 450 recently. Then went up again slightly to 430. It can even go to 5 ringgit per US dollar. So don't laugh. Now, let me say this to the Prime Minister once again, right? You have used threats, you abuse your power to try to silence me. By using SOSMA to imprison me. If you're honest intellectually, if you're honest political leader, why are you afraid to have an open debate on policies? Alright? If you're genuine about supporting the people, be inclusive, then why are you afraid of me giving you concrete proposals? Beyond politics. Utamakan Malaysia, utamakan Allah. Bukan you, bukan UMNO. The country comes first. That's why even though I oppose you, but when it comes to the crisis of the country, as the Prime Minister, I took the path of humility and potential attacks by people to submit the policy papers to you. And I did not benefit 1 cent. SEN, not about $1, 1 ringgit, 1 cent. And you dare, you scumbag accuse me, Matthias Mohon Mega project. I challenge you once more. Show me the evidence to the whole country. There's a letter, a memo, whatever, that I approach you to ask for privatization or a project to be given to a company that I own or control. Service project. I'm telling the whole country, no such stock exists because I never did so. I've never done so while I was the political secretary to the Prime Minister. I will not do that anymore. I will not do that ever. I serve the country and the people of Malaysia. You know, you went to China to build the railway. 55 billion. Works up to what? 500 million per kilometer. Why do you do that? And you MCA leaders and morons laugh and clap because you Chinese scumbag chauvinists, you Chinese fat cats who have money in your pocket by this contract, you sold out Malaysia. You sold out. I didn't sell out. The Chinese came at my invitation for free. For free. But you went there, you China Guai, to China. And most of the businessmen were Chinese. You scumbag. You think you Chinese, yellow skin, you go to China, China will support you because you're yellow? You think they're less stupid? You are the cause of the problem in this country. You Chinese chauvinists in MCA. You laugh. Now, the egg is in your face. The shit is in your face. What do you say? MCA? What do you have to say, Najib? Do you know why I dare speak so strongly and so harshly? Because a spade must be called a spade. No compromise on truth. Because I stand by what I do, what I say, and I mean what I say because I put Malaysia first. Utamakan Malaysia, bukan Najib, bukan UMNO, bukan BN. Whereas you scumbags put your pocket first. That's why you dare not criticize your leaders, even at the pain of incarceration under SOSMA. But let me conclude by saying, if all you MPs in MCA, Gerakan, you leaders, if you say you will help the country, then why you fear me? Why do you fear me? Why do you want to lock me up? Debate with me. Expose me for a charlatan, whatever. But let me tell you, you better do your research. You better get your facts right, because when you attack me, I will counter 10,000 times more because I have all the facts. Okay, all the facts in my hands. But there are many critics of Najib, you know. They will never dare speak the way I speak. You know why? Because a lot of them also are being tainted. They don't live a life that is free of corruption. So to my fellow Malaysians, I apologize for this long address, but I have to do so, and I hope you pay attention to what I've said, the first part and the second part, and don't believe in lies. You know he lies and lie and lie. Like I said, God works in mysterious ways, and each time I'm attacked, God helps me and give me the ammunition to counterattack, so that my reputation, my integrity remains strong and unblemished. And may I say once again, surrender to the will of God, surrender to the will of God, have absolute faith that He will protect us, defend us, and guide us in all circumstances, in the face of all adversities and enemies. With that, I say goodbye to you for today, and hope you have a productive day and go forward to victory. No compromise, forward to victory. Defeat the lies, the scumbags, the gangsters, politicians, these criminals. With that, thank you, and may God bless you all.